Today, Formula One fans around the world woke up to one of the most stunning developments in recent memory. After 2 decades at the helm of Red Bull Racing, 2 decades filled with championship glory, controversies, rivalries, and relentless ambition, Christian Horner has officially been sacked by Red Bull Racing. The decision was confirmed in a short but striking statement issued by the team earlier today. The team confirmed Horner's immediate dismissal as team principal and CEO of Red Bull Racing. The release, which cited internal organizational alignment and a change in strategic direction, has opened up a Pandora's box of speculation, shock, and analysis. This is not just a team change. This is the fall of a central pillar of modern Formula One. This episode breaks down what happened, why it matters, what led to this moment, and where the sport and Red Bull go from here. To understand the gravity of this moment, we must start with the legacy that Christian Horner leaves behind. Horner joined Red Bull Racing in 2005 as the sport's youngest ever team principal at the age of 31. Back then, Red Bull had just purchased the Jaguar F1 team. Expectations were modest, the outfit was known more for its energy drink marketing than any racing pedigree. But Horner had a vision. Backed by the might of Dietrich Mateschitz and Red Bull GmbH, he built a team around engineering brilliance, recruitment of elite talent, and a bold, unapologetic style of management. Under his leadership, Red Bull claimed 6 Constructors' Championships. They secured 7 Drivers' Championships, 4 with Sebastian Vettel and 3 with Max Verstappen. The team dethroned giants like Ferrari and McLaren, and stood toe-to-toe with Mercedes in the hybrid era. They created a brand of racing built on bold strategy, aggressive racing, and brilliant car design, often spearheaded by technical mastermind Adrian Newey. Christian Horner wasn't just a team boss, he was the face of Red Bull Racing. He was the strategist, the politician, the spokesperson, and at times, the provocateur. His legacy is inseparable from Red Bull's golden era. Departure may seem sudden, the writing may have been on the wall for some time. Behind Red Bull's dominant form in 2024 and 2025, there were clear signs of internal unrest. Earlier this year, Horner was the subject of an internal investigation following allegations of inappropriate behavior made by a female employee. While the investigation concluded with no action taken, and Horner remaining in his role, the incident left deep scars within the team, and cast a long shadow over his authority. Sources at the time hinted at a growing rift between Horner and other senior figures in Red Bull's structure, most notably Helmut Marko, the senior motorsport advisor, and Oliver Mintzlaff, the CEO of Red Bull GmbH's corporate group. Those tensions only deepened as Horner reportedly sought to consolidate power within Red Bull Racing, trying to assert more control over Red Bull powertrains, sponsor relations, and driver contracts. The aftermath of Mateschitz's death in 2022 also created a power vacuum. The new corporate leadership in Austria is believed to have been less forgiving of Horner's autonomy, and less tolerant of controversies that affected the brand. Insiders describe the last year as a slow, calculated build-up toward this moment. 9:00 a.m. CET, Red Bull issued a press release confirming Horner's removal as team principal and CEO of Red Bull Racing. The announcement, which was only 160 words long, did not go into detail. It simply stated that Red Bull Racing and Christian Horner have agreed to part ways, effective immediately, and that the team will undergo a period of strategic leadership transition. No successor has been formally named. However, the team has confirmed that interim management is already in place, and a permanent leadership structure will be announced in due course. There was no public statement from Horner at the time of the announcement, though a source close to him said he was blindsided by the timing, believing that negotiations were still ongoing. The Formula One paddock, already in Budapest for this weekend's Hungarian Grand Prix, was reportedly stunned by the timing, just days ahead of a crucial race weekend. The question now is, what happens next? There are two immediate concerns: team stability and driver reactions. First, Red Bull's racing operations are expected to continue smoothly in the short term. Pierre Walsh and Jonathan Wheatley are expected to assume temporary oversight roles. But that does not address the deeper problem. Horner's relationships within the garage ran deep. Many senior engineers, marketing executives, and racing strategists were recruited under his watch. Some insiders suggest a mass exodus is possible, not immediately, but over the coming months, especially if Red Bull GmbH seeks to assert more centralized control. Second, there's the Verstappen question. Max Verstappen has been fiercely loyal to Horner. In past interviews, he made it clear that his loyalty was to people, not institutions. His father, Jos Verstappen, has also been critical of Red Bull management during the Horner investigation earlier this year. Now that Horner is gone, Verstappen's camp is said to be in a state of evaluation. He is under contract until 2028, but F1 history has shown that long-term contracts can be broken if the team dynamic collapses. Mercedes, for example, would leap at the opportunity if Verstappen's relationship with Red Bull begins to unravel. Christian Horner's sacking may not just be about a scandal or a power struggle, it may represent the end of the independent Red Bull Racing era. For years, Horner operated Red Bull Racing as an almost autonomous entity within the wider Red Bull universe. He negotiated with suppliers, influenced driver programs, and protected the team from excessive corporate interference. But the Red Bull company has changed. With Mateschitz gone and corporate leadership more risk-averse and brand-focused, it seems the tolerance for Horner's style, both brilliant and brash, has run out. This may signal a shift in Red Bull's culture from high-risk, high-reward innovation to more standardized corporate control, which could have far-reaching implications not just for Red Bull Racing, but for the broader Red Bull ecosystem, including AlphaTauri, now known as RB. Christian Horner, what now? He leaves the sport as one of its most decorated and recognizable team principals. Despite the abrupt nature of his exit, he remains a force in the motorsport world. Could we see him at another team? Possibly. Audi F1, entering the sport in 2026, may seek leadership with credibility and experience. Andretti's F1 ambitions are still alive, and they could use a figurehead. Or perhaps Horner will take time away, pen a memoir, or work behind the scenes in media or F1 management. What's clear is that Christian Horner is not likely to disappear. Love him or hate him, his name will remain etched into F1 history as both a champion and a divisive figure. Christian Horner's dismissal marks the end of an era, not just for Red Bull Racing, but for Formula One itself. He was the last of a breed, a true paddock power broker who blended sharp politics, technical know-how, and ruthless ambition into a leadership style that delivered results and headlines. For 2 decades, Horner turned Red Bull into a factory of champions and made himself one of the most recognizable faces in global motorsport. But now, the garage he built will carry on without him, and possibly in a new, unfamiliar direction. The story of Red Bull is not over. But the Horner chapter has closed, suddenly, dramatically, and perhaps, inevitably. And now, Formula One holds its breath, wondering who, or what comes next.